Okay, we're still doing dystonia, and we're talking about what to do about it. In the traditional methodologies, it's always going to be muscle spasm medications that are going to try to get things to relax. Well, the thing about muscle relaxers is muscle relaxers are trying to relax the muscles, but the muscles are only doing what they're told by the nervous system. So which ones do you think relax even more? The ones that aren't being told to do something. So the ones that are being told to do something are doing. They're saying, "Listen, I'm doing what you told me to do," and now you're going to try to get me to relax, and everybody else is relaxing. I got to keep going, and so that's the kind of effect that it has, and so the work with the dystonia is abysmal. The other thing that's traditional, like in physical therapy, is we're going to stretch it. Now, we've talked at length about stretching, how it does the opposite of what we think it does. And that's not to mean it's bad, inherently bad, but it's a tool and we're using it wrong. We're trying to elongate muscles, and by elongating muscles, we think that it's automatically going to be able to change and stand up better. But that's not what happens, because the muscle's already tight and getting stronger, and the nervous system that drives it is getting better and better and stronger at driving it. But also remember the concept of reciprocal inhibition. Whenever you contract something, you inhibit its opposite. And so as you're doing your dystonic position, your dystonic posturing, the muscles that oppose that are getting weaker because the nervous system is being told to shut up in that direction. And so it gets weaker and weaker as this gets stronger and stronger. Well, we take and we stretch it, and we're activating, we're playing tug of war with the very muscles that we're trying to get to relax, to shut up so that the head can come up. So the complete opposite strategy is we're going to turn these on so that these can go off. The problem is, by the time they get into our office, they've been in that posture for a long time, and this side is very, very weak, and this side is very, very strong. Often they've had physical therapy that has been trying to help it, and it just keeps getting worse. Why? Because of tug of war. My saying in here is, if there's no tug, there's no war. And so we're working to cause the opposite muscle groups to work so that the nervous system that drives them gets stronger, not only at driving it, but gets stronger at telling the nervous system for the other set of muscles to shut up. We're also working with the inhibition process to get the indirect loop of the basal ganglia to function at progressively higher and higher positions. We're using different parts of the brain to do that, and we've talked about that. We've talked about the hyperkinetic disorders. We talk about the driving the brain from above to increase the activity of the basal ganglia itself, to increase the idle of it. We talked about using the opposite side of the body in movement to drive the mesolimbic and mesocortical pathways in order to build that part of the basal ganglia, indirect loop of the basal ganglia. And then we've also talked about using the frontal lobe, which the hyperdirect pathways are also inhibitory. Using those hyperdirect pathways to build that area, to build those areas so that it tells it to shut up. And so those are all effects that we really work to get done. We're also working to get the spinal cord and the cortex, the integration system, to start functioning better as we're doing tactile mapping, helping the patient know where everything is in space about them in that area that doesn't exist anymore. That's why they can't go that way, because it doesn't exist for them. And this part of their body, we're trying to map that in the parietal lobe and in the top of the brainstem, so that the brain knows, oh, I can actually use that because it's there. So, but there's all kinds of strategies that we use to change those problems that we talked about. Remember I say in here often, I say, the closer you get to the truth, the simpler the solution. So, if you have any other questions, hopefully that sheds some light on what is done traditionally in the medical community, physical therapy communities, in this, particularly in this office, and and so if you have any other questions, let us know. We'll be happy to break it down and make it understandable. And remember, we're here when you're ready to take your life back.